Hey, what's going on, everybody? It is Toaster McGee here with Skelly. I actually assassinated Caleb and took his place on the first and 10, which is now going to be the first and unfigured out name because we have an hour-long show for you tonight, folks. This evening we're going to be taking a look at Darksiders 2, THQ's and Vigil's follow-up to the hit Darksiders.
Really? Darksiders 2 came after Darksider 1?
No, actually, it didn't.
Smartass.
So, yeah, there's a little story in the beginning. So, after this loading screen, we'll let you go ahead and watch that and get a little bit of background on it, and we'll be back.
There can be no life without order. Good, evil, darkness, light. There must be balance in the universe. Such is the decree of the Charred Council, an ancient body charged by the Creator to preserve the very fabric of existence. But the balance has been broken. Even now, Earth smolders in ruin, fallen to the demon lords, and the Destroyer carves a new kingdom amongst his mighty chosen. Some say the Horseman War triggered the apocalypse, that he rode to Earth unbidden and doomed all of mankind. But what of the other horsemen, fearless enforcers of the Council's will? What of fury, strife, and death? To know those names, you must first know another. Nephilim, cursed union of angel and demon. The Nephilim had countless realms preserved and burned them to ash. But 4 amongst them grew weary of the slaughter and feared their conquest would imperil the balance. And so a truce was made. The 4 would serve the Council in exchange for unimaginable power. Thus were the dreaded horsemen formed, and the riders' first task was to purge their own brethren from creation, to annihilate the Nephilim and destroy their souls. Let us now cast our gaze to one amongst the 4, not War, who lies chained at the Council's feet, professing his innocence, but one who would save his brother above all else. He has many names: Kinslayer, Executioner, Death. To bargain for war's freedom, Death swore that he would resurrect humanity.
Hey man, Arthas called. He said, "Can I have my horse back, please?"
Yes.
Alright. All joking aside, the graphics for this game are very well done. It's nice to see a game come out like this where, you know, you can sit back and just let go and know you're sitting there playing a video game. You don't have to sit there and, you know, walk past something that makes your controller rumble and forces you to try to search for something in like a shattered street or something ridiculous like that. This is a tried and true graphic formula. It's cartoony. It's comic booky. It's like a comic book brought to life, really. Is what I think.
Oh, I think the game looks super pretty. It has the open world environment in some spots where you can actually adventure off and look around, and you'll actually see the small details at that point when you actually get into getting up close to some of these items in the bigger open areas. But then you do have your smaller areas that are still detailed, but it's more linear, and they did a good job of incorporating those two and making it seamless between open world and, which it's not, and people are going to bitch about that, it's not truly open world, but there are bigger areas for you to explore. And like this off in the distance, the mountains and stuff like that, they did a really good job with the small details.
And everything's really fluid. You know, you summon despair, by using the left bumper and right bumper. And the transition from running to riding the horse is done very fluidly and very easily. And the transition off of the horse actually does lead to some really great combinations, because it does leave you airborne, and if used correctly, you can actually launch enemies into the air with it. But even the combat style, it's something that we've all seen before with the graphics. You gain more experience by.
And here you are
combos.
Going into your gear and seeing all the different menus. Oh, nice new axe.
Yes, that's a offhand weapon, or not offhand, but an alternate weapon, which is slow but is just devastating.
And what you actually get that alternate weapon when you get a combo built up, and it's like basically the weapon you pull out to do your finishing move.
Yeah, pretty much. You actually use that to slam some people down on their head very hard. Now here, going into the menu, you can actually set it to auto loot for you, which is great, because sitting there and stopping and having to run up and press B to pick something up is getting annoying.
For those of us that play WoW, you'll totally appreciate that one, because you don't have to walk up to each random body and pick up what they drop. You just run by it and it picks up everything together.
And one thing the developers over at Vigil and THQ said is they wanted to set this game apart from the first one with War, where War was a very stoic, rigid character. They wanted Death to be a little more agile, and a little more fun to play, really. I mean, he moves a lot more fluid, he moves a lot quicker. Instead of just that repetitive, comboing with War's massive sword and, things like that. It was actually pretty fun to play Death, because he moves around pretty easily, and it's intuitive.
And it seems like right here, you get stuck for a second.
Yeah, I just wanted our listeners and viewers to see a panoramic view of the situation.
Jeremy just likes scrolling around polls. It looks like the combat is very well put together. It doesn't look like there's really much broken with it. Seamlessly going from a mob of enemies, going from one to the other to actually, attack them. There's no stoppage in the animations. They're smooth going from one to the other. And that's one thing we did discuss in our one for Sleeping Dogs, which is almost the same playstyle as far as fighting goes. But in this, it's seamless and smooth.
And like I said, it's just fun. I mean, the combos are perfect. It's an X pause X Y type situation. And people may say that gets repetitive and things like that. But in a game like this, where you're not looking to have this huge dramatic overdrawn plot, or this the universe is ending, you need to save everybody, but to have this more video game feel of old school video games, early Prince of Persia with the running along the walls, the vampire game from the freaking PlayStation,
Devil May Cry feel.
Devil May Cry. But what was the original one on the old PlayStation with the vampire guy?
I can't remember. But I mean, now because I haven't really got too far into this. Does the attacks get a little bit more difficult to pull off as far as combos go? Do you have the ability to unlock, where you're hitting more intricate button combos to actually pull off a finishing move or a death move?
As you get further along into the game, you get to an area where you meet a character by the name of Thane, who you can learn special moves from. A lot of those moves involve using evasion, which is the right bumper, and basically they form counterattacks. Now, there are combos that you do learn, but the one thing I can tell players is if you really want to rack up the combos, you really need to get your mob airborne in this game. You really got to get them up off the ground, and you got to know when to use that heavy weapon correctly, because there is a free flow combat system to it, and this is me just showing you Death's durability is all.
And the attack, does that do damage if there's an enemy down there if you land on him? Because I saw the ground pop up.
I don't know. I actually haven't done that to an enemy yet.
Okay.
Here we have like a little mini boss battle. And these are actually fun. They're quite frequent during the game, and as you get up there, they're pretty decent for loot too, and they do provide a bit of a challenge. So
Seems like this is where you actually learn your dodge and then your focus, so you can actually target the enemy that you want to attack. Actually comes in handy, it looks like, if you're on like one-on-one with somebody. Instead of dodging backwards or dodging forwards, you dodge while still focused on them. So right after you dodge, you can hit like the X button and attack them instantaneously.
right, and there is a counter attack. You do get some counter attack moves that you can do. You know, you do reach the point where you can actually get a move to summon your Reaper form versus having it pop up randomly. Now, here we see the lock-on feature where constantly the ice giant is in my vision, so it makes it that much easier to dance around him and to not get hit.
You can build up your combo that way too. You had it up to 21 there for a second. Now, what's the advantage of building your combo? Is it just more points, or
Building your combo actually gets you more experience for the battle, from what I've seen. So, and here we have like, these are not prompt scenes. That was all a fluid, just mini cinematic of Death becoming Death, and taking care of what he needs to do.
It seems like at the beginning here, there's a lot of like corridors. It's like straightforward, run this way, don't go anywhere else.
Well, this is kind of like a dungeon crawl basically in this section, and a lot of, like, once you get out of this area after speaking to the Crowfather, you basically get out to a larger area, and we'll get to that when the gameplay video gets to this.
Oh, you mean you're not going up to fight Arthur?
No. It's not. It's his great grandfather.
Oh, okay.
Now, some of you might laugh, some of you might be getting kind of annoyed, but there is one thing I do have to say about this game. It is very much like a single-player World of Warcraft. Graphics-wise, it's a little bit more edgy, but at the same time, it still has that feel. Here we have one of Death's talents where he can actually climb up and down quickly, parallel walls. But back to the World of Warcraft, it does have that feel to it. You get a bunch of loot, you have a skill tree, you level up, you get weapons that add bonuses to strength and defense and things like that. So it's really easy to make that comparison, I think.
Especially with this part here, the whole ice, like, palace looking deal. Kind of looks like Ice Crown Citadel. Now, what is the thing with that green bird?
That's Dust, actually, and that is Death's Guide. So if you're in a dungeon and you don't quite know where to go, you can actually push down on the left thumbstick and summon Dust, and he'll tell you where you need to go. He'll lead you in the general direction.
That right there was really interesting. Instead of like dying and going to a try again screen, he just falls and then flies back to the last save, like basically checkpoint.
Yeah, it is nice in the game, and just for people who are like, oh no, it's not that case with everything. If you get killed by a boss or a creature, you die. You have to restart and start you back at your checkpoint. But falling does not kill Death. He just takes his real form and kills him, or flies back up rather. Now that was a special attack that you get prompt for after landing a certain combo. It leads to more wrath points.
And this is just Jeremy not knowing where to go.
That was a pretty smooth sketch, though.
Yeah, it was. But you went all the way back up just to go all the way back down.
You got to make sure. And that's one of the key things about this game, and I can't stress it enough, is if you're going to truly enjoy this game, do not approach it as a linear, I need to plow through this as fast as I can. Explore it. Walk around. Make sure you haven't missed anything. There's a lot of things to be found, and a lot of secret missions even, which we'll get to in a little while. And as you can see, like, the camera movement is just amazingly smooth. It doesn't really get hitched. It never leaves you in a position where you really can't tell what you're supposed to do. That's just me, with the thumbsticks, just being a douche.
Now, when you're like free walking like this, can you control the camera with the right analog stick?
if you do press down on the right candlestick or
Candlestick.
candlestick, what the hell? Damn you, Pabst. The right thumbstick, it does put you into almost a first-person view mode. It gives you a reticle and allows Death to look around. You can't move in like the first-person view.
Okay, so there's no way. The camera is basically the way they want you to view it. There's no way to change that. Like if you wanted to stand there and just pan the camera around, there's no way to do that without going into that first-person view.
Right.
Okay. Seems like there's like a lot of jumping and scaling stuff.
Well, I mean, that is one of the things about the Darksiders franchise is it did kind of bring back, like, you know, what 3D platforming should have been. You know, it's not so... It's challenging, but not so challenging where you want to throw your Xbox controller and just be like, I don't want to play this game again, you know? Not like some situations in, like, Prince of Persia, when you came into some of those rooms and you were just like, Alright, and here we have our first voice battle.
Voice battle?
Or no, boss battle, rather.
Oh.
Sorry. Wow. We can edit all this out.
I love the fact that he's wearing gigantic cuffs that he can get off himself.
Look at me now.
Well, you know, they shrink whenever he tries to pull his hand out.
How I curse you.
Maybe.
Maybe.
I'm not here
So,
to put you out of your
you know, there's a little back and forth here
I
between
know
Death
why
and the
you
Growfather.
Your brother, the one called War, he's been imprisoned by the Charred Council and awaits their judgment for dooming the Earth, for mankind's extinction. Why should I care about your brother's fate?
Because you know the truth. Your secrets can save him.
The Council will condemn War, strip him of power, let him rot in oblivion, to hide the truth. My secrets cannot prove his innocence, horsemen.
No, but they can help me to erase the crime.
Bring mankind back from extinction? Madness.
If it's madness, then who better to show me the way?
Should a way exist, you will find it here.
The Tree of Life. Let me pass.
Not yet. That which you gave me, you will take it back.
In exchange for its secrets, you agreed to keep the amulet.
No. The voices, they curse and threaten without end. They cry to return. You must destroy it!
I cannot.
You annihilated their flesh. Why do you guard their souls?
Open the portal.
You will not pass while I live.
So be it.
Here your brethren are trapped in eternal torment. Do you wish to join them? And what of War? Would you kill your brother to save your precious balance?
He is innocent.
Are you so certain?
And before we go ahead and ruin the next 40 minutes of gameplay for you, so we're gonna wrap it up and give our final impressions on the game. What do you feel after playing the game for a few hours now and actually getting into it?
I think it's a lot of fun. It certainly lives up to exactly the expectation that it set for itself.
Secrets die with you.
I kind of compare this to like a mature Zelda. It's a lot of fun. It at times it's very open. The boss battles are epic. And don't let this whole little first section here fool you. It looks pretty easy riding through, but it's the first section. It's kind of like a prologue. Once you get past this and into this next realm that you end up in, populated by like 8-foot dwarf type people, and that might be confusing, but you'll see what I mean when you get there. It opens up a brand new level of exploration. Actually, in my own, I found a boss that I didn't know existed. You upgrades in weapons. You find possessed weapons, which you feed other weapons to, and they just become more ridiculously powerful.
Oh wow!
The game is very well made. It moves wicked smoothly. The controls are so intuitive. If you play Darksiders, you'll be fine. If this is your first entry into the title, it's a great game, and it's really easy to figure out how to play and figure out how to use the controls to your advantage to come up with those massive combos. And
now it coming out at this time of year, and I do this every year with these types of games that come out in like August, end of summer. Is this a game that you think people will remember after the blockbuster titles come out during the Christmas season? Do you think, after Resident Evil, Assassin's Creed, Halo, Black Ops 2 come out, do you think people will still go back and say, I want to play more Darksiders 2?
I think if the guys at THQ and Vigil come out with some good DLC for it and good expanded content on it, hell yeah. I think the replayability factor, because there are various levels of difficulty that you can play on, thus more difficulty, better loot. There is a multiplayer aspect to it, an in-game email system for both in-game emails that are part of the story and Xbox Live emails.
So could you actually, send loot that you got to like a friend of yours?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
From what I can see, it looks like that way. Unfortunately, I didn't really have any other friends playing the game, so.
Sure.
But yeah, from what I see, it apparently looks like you could, trade weapons and things through the mail in the game. And as I said, this is one of the races that you run into, and they are massive dwarves. It's pretty ridiculous. They're called makers.
Nice. The game looks pretty interesting. I think it's one of those games that I'm going to play for a little while. And personally, I think it's a game because it's, granted, I do play World of Warcraft, but these hack and slash games aren't my game of choice. This is a game I am having fun with, and I will continue to have fun with it. But I think after like the Resident Evil 6 come out, which is one of my most anticipated games of the year, I don't think I will pick it up as much, but I will continue to go back to it to see, what DLC comes out for it and what I can actually get from bosses and all the different loot. So, at the end of the day, what do you, what would you actually give it?
I'm gonna actually go ahead and give it a 10 out of 10.
Really?
And the reason for it is, like I said, the development company never ever pretended this game was going to be anything more than you see here.
Sure.
They never hyped it up to the point where it was ridiculous. It was not like this plot-driven, heavy, intense, dramatic. No, it's just a fun game to play. You got 30 minutes to sit down and just goof around. You can put this in and not worry about it. There's auto saves. The combo system is not ridiculous. And it's an open world to explore. The graphics are amazing. The voice acting is awesome, and if anybody, if you recognize voice's depth, it's the bad guy from The Crow.
Yes.
And he's got this really sardonic, sarcastic. He's deaf for her, and like, oh, you are here, So yeah, I think for what this game is trying to be, it does it very well. The graphics are great. The music is epic. At times, I honestly felt like I was watching like a Batman movie almost because of like the Hans Zimmer type background music going on.
Nice.
You know, the environment is not so difficult to traverse, and the puzzles aren't so hard to figure out that it makes the game not playable. So THQ did a really good job of putting out a fantasy hack and slash that does a great job of continuing the story of the original Darksiders game. You know, bringing the skill tree and the more open world to it is a bonus for this title. Yeah, definitely.
Nice. Yeah, I'd probably give it a 9 out of 10. I wouldn't go perfect 10 out of 10 with it, but, you know, it's, once again, it's not my first choice for games, but with what it is and what I've seen of it, it is a solid 9 out of 10 for me. So it's one of those games that I do suggest, you know, picking up. See, there you go, leveling up. It's not one of those rent it and try it out, because the game is hours upon hours of gameplay. So definitely go pick it up.
Although speed runs apparently have been done where they beat the game in 13 hours.
But still, even that's 13 hours. A lot of games nowadays, you know, you can beat in 4 hours. There's games with speed runs you can beat in under an hour. I mean, so even with speed runs, this game being 13 hours, for those people that aren't rushing through it and, you know, want to, you know, see what the best loot is and explore all the big areas, it's going to be probably 30 plus hours of gameplay, if not more than that.
And the really cool thing about this is the game isn't an extension. It's not really a sequel. The storyline actually takes place parallel to War's storyline in Darksiders.
Right. And there is going to be, what, 2 more games in the series?
Well, I'm assuming there's 4 of them.
Yeah, exactly.
So probably 2 more.
Thanks, Chief.
You're welcome.
I appreciate it, Captain Obvious.
Just trying to help out there.
All right, awesome.
Yep.
But like, in this, even right here, it does bring me back to like the World of Warcraft. So it is a game I'm used to. The talent trees, you know, you have 2 different ones right there. I don't know if they extend on that and you can get more later on. But you do have 2 decent DPS trees right here that you can choose from. So I still say a solid 9. You say a 10. We will compromise on a 4 out of 10.
That's not compromise. That's poor math.
2 plus 2 doesn't equal 22? No. Damn it. Fuck, my teachers lied to me. Damn public schools.
At the end of the day, we can both agree the game is worth the $60 price tag.
Oh, definitely.
Especially if you're a fan of the series.
Yeah, if you played the first one and you enjoyed it, definitely get this one. If you haven't played the first one, get this one. And still play it.
And you know what? And this isn't such a horrible game where you like, if you have a young teenager kid, you know, granted it's got an M rating, but I really don't understand why.
Is there any cursing in it?
No, not that I've run into.
There is blood, violence. You don't. They want to put an M rating on it so they don't get these parents saying, "Oh my God, my kid killed somebody because of Darksiders 2."
Oh Jesus, that would be so bad.
I mean, even though I don't see a kid bringing.
Although there is one reference that we can make.
What's that?
I don't know if they used Casey Jones as a
Oh
character
God,
model
that yes.
I really don't.
When I first saw the character model, I was like, "Where is the cricket bat?" That would have been epic.
Cricket? Nobody plays cricket anymore. You gotta understand what a cricket or crumpet is to understand cricket. Now, before we go, there's a couple other things. Is you can actually assign action buttons to, or your special attacks to, you know, hot button commands. It is a bit limited, unfortunately. I really feel that maybe, you know what, I'll say a 9.5. The reason I say that is because with the control scheme, the Xbox gamepad has so many different combinations of buttons you can use to do things that you could have easily done a left, you know, bumper XBYA thing and a right bumper XBYA thing.
True.
You know, or something like that to, you know, give a little bit more variety to the special moves that you can do, because you run into sections where you eventually get desk grip, which allows you to, you know, jump to various places. As you and that's not really a spoiler. Looking at the environment, you can kind of understand, hey, I should be able to get there at some point.
But you got to understand too, those controls, like you're saying, RB and LB and holding that and then hitting one of the other buttons, those if they were to do that, the commands they already have for those buttons would limit the game so much more. Because you have the RB button, which dodges left and right. You have the left trigger, which will actually lock onto a target. If they use those to, toggle different fighting styles or something like that, or bring on a different spell set, it would limit the game and what you would do, and it would make the game, in my opinion, broken.
Understandable. But yeah, at the end of the day, the game is definitely worth the $60. It's a great title. It's a great, mythology that THQ has kind of created with this franchise so far. It'll be interesting to see, what comes along further from the studio. So,
all right.
Definitely pick it up.
Definitely. And that's it for another episode of the First and 10. Definitely go ahead on the site. We do have our last First and 10, which was 2 days ago, with Sleeping Dogs. That's another game that, if you thought about picking up this week, came out the same day as Darksiders. Go check it out. It's another game that I suggest buying. We did give it a 9 out of 10. So go check that out. And also go check out our different giveaways that we are going to be having. And go like us on Facebook, because we will be doing giveaways on Facebook in the coming weeks.
And also go check out secondopinion.com, or secondopinionpod.com rather. We, some excellent coverage of some Gamescom releases. And we have some great podcasts on there, such as the PlayStation Invasion.
Yes, with new host DCD.
Yeah.
So definitely go check out all of our different podcasts. We have a bunch on there. And that is pretty much it. Enjoy the rest of this game. Go pick it up if you like it. If not, leave comments down below, and we will definitely respond. And if there's any games that came out in the past that you are thinking about picking up and just like on the fence about, leave them in the comments below, and we will actually record specialized First and 10 so you can see what the game is before you spend the money on it.
And just in case anybody's listening that is worried about spoilers, if you don't want to see, stop watching.
Yes.
The rest of you, please treat this as a walkthrough. There are some things that are challenging in the game. And peace out.
Peace out.
Good night.
I can end your troubles, Maker.
Well, you're welcome to try. This blade is more ancient than you, Ryder. And taller to boot.
I will break it, and you, down to size.
Right, you've gotten that far. Have you had enough, old bess?
Maker's beard. The rumors are true. A horseman in the Forge lands. The name's Alia, and that's my brother Valis. We are the keepers of this forge. Though I reckon that means less now than once it did.
This is a Maker's forge?
Nay, the Maker's forge is lost to us, silenced by the hands of corruption. But in its depths we once crafted the dark towers of hell and the cities of heaven.
Now you make trinkets?
And you, one of the four, now seek the aid of the Makers? I guess we've all fallen from high places.
I came here seeking the tree, and your elder speaks of fire. What is it?
Aye, the fire of the mountain, the Stonefather's blood. It once flowed into our forge, as did the tears. Both imbued our craft with incredible power, the heart and the soul of stone. But corruption has taken them, and now our forge is silent.
Why does this concern me?
The way to the tree is lost, barred by corruption. You can no more leave this place than we. Restore our forge, and the tree can be reached.
I don't follow your reasoning.
We are makers, not warriors. But we are not without our weapons. Before the forge was lost, we crafted a mighty creature of soul and stone. A colossus to fight this corruption. But to awaken him requires a maker's key. And we need our forge to craft one. Will you help us?
What is this cauldron?
A temple built in the shadow of Stonefather's Peak. There, the fire of the mountain was harnessed and passed into our forge. Ride east of town, ride through the charred pass, and towards the cindery peak of the Stonefather. There, you will find the cauldron.
Man of no words, your brother.
But hardly silent. His voice is the ring of the hammer and the roar of the white flame.
Yes, he works while you talk. I may have need of a blade.
Is your need greater than ours, horseman? I think not. We fight for the survival of our realm and our kin. Prove worthy, and mayhaps we can do business.
We've been awaiting your arrival, horseman. Your shadow has long hovered over this realm.
Many know the Reaper, Old One, but I don't know you.
We are the builders of this world, but corruption seethes at its heart and destroys in days what we shaped over eons. Adar does his best to soothe our pain, but our souls yearn for only one comfort: death. We are without hope. Horseman, do you ever doubt your future?
No.
So one like yourself would set out to change a fate that displeases him. That is a long and dangerous path, even for death himself.
How is that your concern, Shaman?
Only that I am skilled at crafting talismans. If you gather the proper materials and return them to me, I'll make a potent talisman to aid you on your journey.
What do you require?
Stalker's bone, mordant dew, and carven stone. It is not a simple charm.
Where can I find them?
Somewhere in the Forge lands. I rarely leave Tristone, but that pup Khan is always out exploring. He can tell you more, no doubt.
Tell me, Shaman, what is corruption?
I only know what I fear it to be. That corruption is hate given life, and that hate does not come from trees or stones, but from ourselves.
You despair, Old One, and yet raise life from the earth.
I am a shaman, bound to this task even as our days darken. We are as the vines, coming to root, then to flower, and then to decay, dropping seeds upon the dust. A circle everlasting. I cannot stop it, nor can I stop you.
Tell me more about the Tree of Life.
The forest around the tree has been corrupted. It hungers. You cannot reach the tree, not with breath still in you. There are new talismans for you to browse.
The fire is more valuable than I, horseman. You should make haste to the temple.
Fire alone won't save your realm. You speak of the forge.
Aye. Without the fire and the tears of the mountain, without the forge itself, we have no means to clear the forest and reach the tree of life.
What then?
Our power is over creation, yours over death and despair. You are Nephilim, Lord of Destruction. Perhaps in that, there is hope.
Just how old is the forge?
It is as ancient as the realm itself, and perhaps even older. It is said the forge was the first thing we makers built, that in its depths we shaped entire worlds. Horseman.
Horseman, you'll find not that way, but trouble.
Do what you must for your kin, old one. For mine, I ride to the cauldron.
Well, if you fancy your corruption waist deep, that's as good a place as any. You know, there's a reason this gate is here. And if you were a friend, I wouldn't let you pass. But then, who is friend to death?
Have you wisdom to share, or was it long since knocked loose in battle?
Wisdom ain't like teeth. I've plenty left. Enough to stay clear of the cauldron. The ancients filled it with right nasty traps. But one so clever as yourself will surely elude them.
over here. Greetings, horseman, and welcome. I've been expecting you.
Vulgrim. What brings you crawling out of the shadows?
I wouldn't want to lose my most valuable customer. Not to what lurks at the edge of shadows. So here I am, to offer my wares.
What do you know that I don't? I'm not here by choice, demon.
I merely followed the trail of carnage. Your blades are as sharp as ever. Even still, I may be able to help you. I carry things others would frown upon. Go on, take a look. You won't be disappointed. I have new items, if you have the courage.
Another time, demon.
Until then, perhaps you'll grant me a small... There are pages missing from the Book of the Dead. I believe many lie along your path. If you bring them to me, your reward will be substantial.
And so will be my damnation.
Fresh merchandise.
This is no place for a horse. To go alone. This is no place for a horse. I have to go alone.
Show me the way.